Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Hey. What a beautiful day.
Yep.
Your plants look really good, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to put out positive vibes lately. I feel like they're really feeding off that.
You know, I think your Swedish ivy could use just a little bit of water.
Swedish ivy, that's this one?
Yeah.
I think it's doing just fine.
No. We're in a heat wave, my man. And I did hear your plants screaming from down the street there.
Listen, pal, I'm trying to project positive energy, so I'll say this one time nice and polite. Don't come to my bungalow and tell me how to water my plants, okay? And I won't go to your shack and tell you how to water your weeds.
I ain't got no shack, Jack. And I definitely ain't got no weeds, Steve.
My name's not Steve, dumb shit.
I know, it's Blondie. Listen. Water your plants. Or I'm gonna come in there and water them for you.
You try to water my plants, and I'm gonna be watering your grave.
You're gonna kill me?
You hear me? Every Sunday.
You'd wilt from the guilt, Jack.
By the way, your sunflower looks withered.
You water your plants. Except for that cactus. That thing's good till next week.
If you were a fart, I'd clench my cheeks so hard, just to make sure I never let you go.
How are you feeling? I feel kind of depressed and fucking awful. Oh, yeah. Next time say good and then shut the fuck up.
You're a cunt!
I have contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves! Begone, vile man! Begone from me!
You want to know my favorite sex position?
Sure.
It's called the JFK. I splatter all over her while she screams and tries to get out of my car.
No.
Okay, in 15 fucking minutes, you're all not gonna care about this anymore, so I'll just say what I need to say. That was the worst we have ever had, and you're all fucking around!
That's because Toothpick sucks. Yeah, that's why. It's him.
I don't put this all on Tooth Decay. Let me tell you something, Dental Floss. You're not as good as you fucking think you are. You're already acting like you're a star, and we haven't even opened yet. Open your fucking eyes, Dental Floss. You're about to blow your shot.
You can't spell advertisements without semen between the tits. Until we meet again.
Let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
From Filthy Martini Studios in Ontario, California, it's the Foos Show!
Hey, what is up, everyone? I am Josie.
And I'm Steph.
Thank you all so very much for listening to the Foos Show, and a special thanks to you, Foos, to subscribe, rate, review, and share the pod with your fellow Foos. Remember to pick up some swag at FooBarShow.com. That's FOOBarshow.com, and follow FOOBar Show on all of our socials, and we'll foo it up like a couple of Foos. Ain't that right, Steph?
That's right.
Steph, I'm pretty excited for today's show. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we got a couple guests on the show today. Fucking finally. We've got Doug Brode, author extraordinaire, author of The Ship's Revenge, and Children of the Ship. He'll be on promoting Children of the Ship, the conclusion of his trilogy of his ship books. Very cool sci-fi thriller books. I think anybody who listens to this show and appreciates all the geek shit that we talk about will appreciate the hell out of these books. Now, you don't have to read them all. You don't even have to read them in order.
right? As we'll find out in the interview.
Yeah, so we'll talk to him about that, and that's going to be during Geeking Out. And then for our music highlights, we have Metalhead Nelson back on the show.
Finally.
It's been a while since we've seen Nelson, and it's nice to have him back on the show now. I think last week we advertised that he was going to be in studio. He has allergies, so he doesn't want to be sneezing up a storm up here in the studio. So hopefully he recovers from COVID real soon.
Not COVID, but allergies.
Isn't that what everybody says? They don't have COVID.
I'm not sick. I have allergies.
Right.
As they're hacking up a lung.
That's the go-to excuse. But Steph, what's up with you? How have you been?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Using that Chat GPT.
For everything?
For many things.
Well, you're looking for a new job, so you're using it the way a lot of people should be using it in improving your resume, your cover letters, at least so that you can get a bunch of shit done in a fraction of the time you would have if you were using the old noggin there.
It's not only that, but for an individual such as myself, I have a hard time expressing my thoughts in the way that I want. As you can probably tell from listening to this podcast, I can't really speak properly or even just jotting it down. And so this AI actually helps me to organize my thoughts and actually type it out in a concise manner. And I just go in there and just clean it up. And it's not like it's fabricating anything that isn't real, right? So everything that's on that resume, in that cover letter, are things that I've already done, things that I can do. And it really just helps me.
Let's give our listeners a quick little tutorial on how to use Chat GPT. Now, there is a free version of Chat GPT. If you go to OpenAI, just Google OpenAI, create an account, and then you'll want to open up Chat GPT-3 or 3.5 because the fourth version is the one that you're going to have to pay for. And that one, from what I'm hearing, that one is scary good. The way it's pretty much a person. And they've done all kinds of crazy shit with that one. But but version 3 or 3.5, what they have going on for free, is still very good, very sophisticated software there. And pretty much like... You should teach it the subject that you're trying to get out of it. So you can't just say write an essay about this, that, and the other. I mean, you can, but it's not going to sound like you. You have to give it instructions. You have to feed it the information you already have in your brain. Talk about the subject. Like, for example, you told it what you do, you shared with it your resume,
yes,
you shared with it the kinds of job description, and that's just a simple copy and paste. This is my resume, copy and paste it onto the chat. It then acknowledges it, and then you want to upload also the copy and paste the job description that you're targeting, and then just say maybe a couple extra blurbs of what you do on your day-to-day and your job, and just ask it now, please build a cover letter based on the job description I want to apply to that I've already shared with you. Or please revamp my resume so that it speaks to this job that I'm trying to get.
Yes.
And it'll spit out a few bullet points. And you pick the best ones. I'm not saying copy and paste it directly from Chat GPT. It's not perfect. And it's probably not going to know exactly who you are. But, use your best discretion. Grab the best things from there that you can. And then just go from there.
Yeah, and it is insane how fast the responses are. Like, it's almost like in real time. It's like, oh, certainly. Here's, and then it starts typing, here's your resume, here's your cover letter. And it took me, I don't know, like a solid week to finalize my resume. And this thing did it in like seconds.
Yeah, like 30 seconds or less.
Wow, it's amazing.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. And you got an interview out of it.
I did.
You got an interview, and that's awesome because that's the whole point here, to try to just
get
streamline.
Steph a job.
And streamline your shit and get Steph a new, better paying job, for sure, man. And so I mean, I encourage you because this is the future. This shit is not going away. If you haven't messed around with a little AI, do it, or you're gonna fall behind. At least expose yourself to the way that you should be talking to AI so that you can just get a little practice in.
Yeah.
But aside from OpenAI and Chat GPT, there's a bunch of other ones like, write poems, paint paintings. You've been seeing them all throughout the internet for the last year. It's been blowing up pretty significantly.
We've talked about this on the pod before, but Midjourney is a big graphic designing one.
Yeah, from AI. I saw this meme this week that said something, I don't know exactly what it said, but it was along the lines of, growing up, when I imagined AI, I didn't imagine that humans would be doing the hard labor minimum wage jobs and robots would be doing the poem writing and the painting. I figured it'd be the other way around. And hopefully we at some point get to that in our history. But I think it's just because it's so early on and it's kind of at its infancy that, we kind of have to fuck around with it in these ways. But hopefully, they don't turn on us and they actually begin to help us in all kinds of things, agriculture and production. And, there's the shit that people can be using their time and resources to do better things with their lives.
Right. We've incorporated technology throughout different scopes throughout the years. Mm-hmm. So this is just another part of it.
Yeah, and you got some old white guy over in Capitol Hill getting, pissed off or afraid of it. But I think as long as we can play nice with technology and make it be a partner rather than an adversary. I mean, we've all seen Terminator, so we know what can happen.
Yes.
But
I think this is another step in human evolution.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the beginnings of it.
Yeah, because eventually we're going to be what Ray Kurzweil is calling a singularity, where we get to a point where the line between machine and human will get blurred because we're going to begin to incorporate, for people who lost their limbs in war, for example, or they're going to have these metal limbs and they're already in existence where somebody can control those limbs with their brain.
Yeah.
And so if you incorporate a little AI along with that, with, bionic eyeballs or whatever the fuck, it's going to come in the future, there's going to be that line that's going to become blurred because we're going to integrate this technology within our own bodies and maybe I don't know if it's going to be possible in our lifetime, but integrating it in a biological sense where, when two people mate and have offspring, they will already be born with this kind of feature along with them.
With nanites?
With nanites, yes.
I wonder if there's already a story out there that involves nanites.
Well, speaking of, I'm excited to talk to Doug Brode and the ship's revenge. And, I think they talk about nanites in these books. So, let's, big ups to Doug on this for the foresight. Yeah. Anyway, before we get into Geeking Out, before we get into any of that, Steph, have you heard about this? Kraft Heinz has created a remix machine that will let you create custom condiments.
Ooh, what is
So
what kind of condiments are we talking about?
Well, first off, have you been to and as far as I know, only really Jack in the Box has this, where when you walk in, they have this machine, and I don't really go inside of restaurants because people. But I the last few times that I've actually walked into a fast food restaurant, which has been Jack in the Box, I've noticed that they have this machine that allows you to, if you want a Coca-Cola, not only will it give you the option to choose a Coca-Cola, but you can add other flavors to enhance the flavor, like vanilla, cherry. You can get a cherry Coke out of it, but it lets you pick the secondary flavor to your Coke, along with Sprite. And any other thing you can add, those other flavors into the soda. This is kind of like enhancing what we did as kids when we would go to fast food and get a little bit out of every soda from the dispenser and create a super soda.
No, I never did that. No? I only like one flavor. I'll get a little. I won't even fill up the whole cup. I just want a taste of everything, but not at the same time. I'll have a little bit of root beer, go back and finish it, then maybe lemonade, and then go back and finish it. I don't want it all mixed together because gross.
Right. Okay. I enjoyed it. And I think because in the collection of sodas that we had when I worked at Jack in the Box, what really kind of added the flavor that really was prominent when you took a sip out of that hodgepodge of sodas was the Fantas, the cherry or strawberry and orange Fantas that were a part of it. Those really it made the whole thing taste like bubblegum to me.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
It was pretty cool.
I'm not a fan of that bubblegum flavor.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, Heinz is doing this with their condiments. So they're doing, let's see. This was actually sent to me by Josh. And it's through Nerdist. Like many 90s kids, one of the great joys of my childhood was mixing all the sodas at Taco Bell. That rudimentary mishmash is still one of the best drinks I've ever had, but it now seems quaint. Coca-Cola freestyle machines let us customize our selections with a seemingly infinite number of combinations. However, that hyper flavor specificity is coming to the world of condiments with Kraft Heinz's new Heinz Remix machine. It's a first of its kind customizable dispenser that will allow customers craft the exact dipping sauce they desire. The Kraft Heinz company has announced in news we first saw at CNN the next big innovation in condiments. The freestanding touchscreen machine only took 6 months to develop from concept to product. Here's how it works. The Heinz Remix comes with a handful of base sauce options. They include ketchup, ranch, 57 sauce. What's 57 sauce?
Well, I don't know what 57 sauce is.
Okay.
What is 57 sauce?
And barbecue sauce. The fun and personalization comes from what the company refers to as enhancers. As of now, they are jalapeno, smoky chipotle, buffalo, and mango. Probably for like a mango habanero type of thing. You got the 57 there. Is it a hot sauce?
It's a hot sauce. It's a hot sauce. Oh.
Cool. So, like, if you add the mango, it turns it into a mango habanero, I'm guessing. Or at least it makes it taste that way. But even those come with some variety. Users can select their preferred intensity level of either low, medium, or high. Oh, shit. Okay. So if you really want a lot of jalapeno in it, you can. Or just like a low amount, depending on what you're into. This machine is a big leap from the company's relatively new line of Heinz Remix combo condiments, like Mayo Chup has been on the shelves for some time now.
Right.
That's been, a lot of people are fans of that. Have you ever been into Mayo Chup? Which is just mayo and ketchup combined?
I don't buy that particular item, but mayo and ketchup is like a good combination, like on a burger or something. It's the flavor of the two.
And if you add relish and mustard, you're pretty much making Thousand Island.
Thousand Island, yeah.
Yeah. So here's a quote from Kraft Heinz. As a company, we're transforming through innovation by making bigger, more intentional bets to fuel our growth and create new experiences for consumers. This is the vice president of disruption. Heinz Remix is a great example of this consumer-first approach to innovation. We're changing the game for food service operators and sauce lovers. Dipping will never be the same. With Heinz Remix, it's more than a sauce dispenser. It's an insights engine and business model enabler that will help Kraft Heinz understand and respond to consumer trends and flavor preferences in real time. Who knows? Maybe our next new sauce combination will come from a super fan using Heinz Remix. So this tells me that they're grabbing data to analyze from everybody using this.
Yeah.
And putting together these new combinations so that they can then patent it and put it on shelves themselves. The new machine will make its public debut this weekend at the 2023 National Restaurant Association show in Chicago. It's going to happen on May 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd of this year. Kraft Heinz says that its current plan is to start getting them to restaurant operations in late 2023 to early 2024. And that's going to be cool for those who like to mishmash their dipping options. Mm-hmm. Especially like if they incorporate it in McDonald's, because you know how they want to charge you like 25 cents or more for a little extra packet of something. I wonder if they're going to try to monetize that.
Probably.
Knowing
would you
McDonald's.
just like a condiment fee, right? Just a
like a flat fee?
Yeah, flat fee. And then you just get as many condiments as you want. Just like, you pay for a soda and you can get free refills. You pay for the cup. Because we all know, like, if you get like 3-4 refills, right?
Yeah.
The soda doesn't cost that much. You're just
paying for the cup.
Paying for the cup
that they purchased.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be complimentary, like ketchup is at a restaurant, or napkins.
Yeah.
Or cutlery. Yeah. Anyway, there was a time, because we were always broke growing up, where I don't ever remember my parents purchasing napkins. We always had napkins from a fast food restaurant, even if we didn't eat there.
To this day.
We still have like Alberto's napkins this morning that we used.
Well, that was just because we had extra.
But if you're talking about my parents, yes, they have fast food napkins always on the dinner table. It's pretty, and I'm sure we're not the only family who did it.
No.
Yeah, you're kind of silly if you don't, walk out with a wad of napkins. At least when I do it, I keep it in the car's glove box because spillage and things that happen.
Yeah.
In the car.
You always need like something like that, like tissues or whatever.
Yeah, a jizz rag, whatever.
In the car, gross.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, Steph.
What are you doing in this car?
Oh, I thought you were going to participate, but no, I guess we're too cool for that.
Oh my God.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this intro. Now, we recorded out of order, so by the time we are doing this intro, we would have already spoken with Doug and Metalhead Nelson and done everything else there. But this is our anniversary show.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. I mean, there's no more pageantry than just having a couple of guests on. And this is a fun podcast. So without further ado, you want to get into Geeking Out?
Let's go.
All right. Making his triumphant return to the Foo Show program, author, storyboard artist, conceptual artist, and prop illustrator Doug Brode is back on the show. What is up, Doug?
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Hello. Yeah, man, third time's a charm. We've had some technical difficulties trying to get this whole thing off the ground, and here we are, man, in mid-flight. All right.
Well, third attempt for the third book. It all evens out.
Yeah, and I think in attempt number 2 in trying to get this thing going, I think we hypothesized that it might have been the government trying to shut this whole thing down because of the truth you've been spewing from these books.
I thought it was fiction, but you never know.
You just never know. Man. So anyway, like we've been saying, we're so excited to have you on because we're big fans of your work. Not only with these 3 books, because you've just completed the trilogy of the ship, but also with the other stuff that you've shared with us, your storyboard drawings, everything that you've talked about in your career history, in the first couple of times that you've been on the show. This is your 3rd time on the Foo Show podcast, and you've been on for every book.
Yeah, no, thanks so much. We met in LA Comic-Con about 6 months after the first book launched, and then you were nice enough to have me come back for the second one, and now we're closing the trilogy out. The book just came out 2 days ago, so book 3.
Yeah, now, I don't know how much about this you want to talk about, but I understand that there was a little bit of a mishap with the book getting released earlier than expected.
Oh, yeah. No, you would think I'd be too small for pirates to notice, but somebody, I'm not going to theorize on how they got copies. I have my ideas, but somebody got advanced copies of this book, a lot of them, and they were selling them on Amazon at incredible prices, like 35 something for the paperback.
Wow.
I'm like, wait, what? I mean, even our Comic-Con prices, which always have to be a little bit higher because of the booth, are nowhere near that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And how it hurt me was, we do all these pre-orders so that your first day sales are really good. It helps give your book a little bit of a boost. We lost all of that because the pre-orders stopped 2 days in advance. And, so that hurt us. Also, God forbid some, a client or reader or whatever you want to call them just decided, Doug's new book is out. I'm going to buy this. And then saw the price is $35.
Yeah.
What's this cheap bastard trying to do to me? So You know,
That's true. I
hopefully
mean,
nobody was stupid enough to pay that for a paperback. I mean, you know.
and so as far as you know, do you know if there was any copies sold with those ridiculous
I have
prices?
no way of knowing. I didn't get anything from it, and if anybody did, God forbid, buy a copy, they totally got ripped off. But it's the book. I mean, it's not like they're not getting it. It's just they're paying $35 for a paperback. They could have gotten the hardcover for $30. I mean,
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully nobody did. But yeah, no, that was. You would think I would be too small of a fry for them to even notice. I would imagine they're doing this to a lot of indie authors. I would imagine that they have access to the plant in some way, shape, or form, and are having that happen. And I did let the people printing the books know.
Did you leave them a bad review?
No. I emailed them, and they said the next day either they or Amazon, somebody definitely noticed, because those books were gone, and my books and book 3 ended up coming out a day early.
Yeah.
So somebody was obviously noticed it and was trying to snip it in the bud. So,
gotcha. Yeah.
It's not the way I would say it's nice to be popular, but that's not the way you want to be popular.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it creates buzz. But it depends on the size of the buzz.
I guess. I mean, it's a pretty small world of people that even knew that was occurring. But I did try to let some of my readers know on Facebook and stuff like that. And I told them that anybody who had already pre-ordered, that it didn't affect them in any way. I just didn't want them to buy it on that day. It was like a Wednesday, so 2 days before the release. And by Thursday, it was up, and I let them know this is fine. You can buy this version.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, we were lucky enough, Doug, for you to share a pretty much what was it? A manuscript? The manuscript of the book before it got to your editor?
No. The book 3?
Yeah.
You guys got the final copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's an advance copy.
Steph got an advance copy.
Yeah. 11 sentences were changed.
Okay.
Out of 80,000 words. So it was the book.
So we got, Steph had an opportunity to read it. I've not read it yet. I'm very excited to check it out whenever the audio book comes out.
You want the audio.
Yeah, I want the audio. Now, do you have a sense of when that's coming out?
Yeah, he starts recording that in about 2 weeks. Zachary Johnson, same guy who did the first 2.
Oh, nice.
It was really great that I got the same guy to do the whole trilogy. It gives it consistency.
Yeah.
My writing has a consistent tone, and it's great that the narrator has a consistent tone as well. So that if they hate it consistently. And if they like it, then they like it consistently. So
you're right.
But yeah, so he's recording in about 2 weeks, which means it'll drop probably the end of June.
Okay. Cool. Gives me something to read during summer break. Not that I have one.
Listen to, yeah.
Yeah. So, Steph, you want to, since you've read book 3, what do you got cooked here for Doug?
I thought this was an amazing final book for this trilogy. So I was just, I couldn't stop reading it. And thank you for the advance copy, by the way. And it was just a nice, satisfying touch. And I liked how, so on the cover, this isn't a spoiler or anything. There is, a child in the book. And I like the way she was written into it. It was
good.
Yeah.
There's nothing more terrifying than writing a child into a book that's really aimed at mature adults.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the Jar Jar effect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could really, and I don't mean that as a rip to Lucas, God bless. I'm just saying I didn't want that reaction. I didn't want them being like, oh no, I'm reading about a child. I don't want to hear about a 7-year-old girl and her dialogue and what she has to say, this and that. Right. So writing her in a way that I thought a mature audience would enjoy was absolutely one of the top 2 challenges of this book.
And there is that Hollywood thing of any actor who wants to take themselves seriously would stay away from working with children and animals. There's also kind of that little element too, for whatever crazy reason. But
I thought it was just right. She was in there just the right amount of time, and her dialogue, and then the way they were portraying her as the family and everything. It wasn't one of those. How do I say this? The child didn't take over the story, and kind of run amok or anything like that. It was just right.
Good.
Yeah. So it was very satisfying for me.
What's cool for me too is that we had in this most recent LA Comic Con where we saw you at your booth, we had an opportunity to meet your daughter who, you pretty much that's the
I
girl.
turned her into a monster.
Turned her into an alien.
Yeah,
and she's on the cover there.
I turned my daughter into a monster. And she had T-shirts and everything. We had T-shirts made for Comic-Con and everything. So
That's so cool.
If you come by in December or whatever, she can autograph a copy for you, because she did her first autographs actually at the Vegas Con, which was 3 weeks ago, I think. And so we actually had some advanced copies there that we sold.
How was that, man? I understand you were a little nervous in going, because have you ever been a part of a panel like that?
Oh yeah, so yeah, they had me. They had me on 2 panels. I did one for the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and one for Star Trek. And I was nervous, and I didn't really know much about anything like that. I think I've probably seen the panel somewhere on YouTube at some point, but to host one, to have everybody in the room and that they're like, you're there, you're the reason they're there.
You're the MC, yeah.
Was a little nerve-wracking. So I thought the MCU one went really, really well. I thought that was, the Star Trek one I shared with an actress, and she was really great at kind of running the thing and keeping it going, keeping the movement going. So it was nice to share something with that where I had half the load. But the MCU was just, I was just relieved that it went well. And actually, I was really nervous about leaving the booth for an hour each time I did one of these. I'm like, because you're here for, you're trying to make some sales, not only to get the word out, but to also cover your booth and cover your expenses. And actually, a lot of people came down from there and ended up picking up the whole trilogy set. So,
did you plug your book while you were on stage on the panel? Because I'm sure that would help.
Oh yeah. You've met my wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was running the MCU panel. She was the one asking the questions. So she had them on display in front of me.
Oh, nice. That's what's up. Hell yeah. Okay. Good.
So shout out to my wife, Pamela.
Yeah.
She's great. She's great.
But she's definitely the salesperson in our family.
And then out of nowhere, I get a text because Steph a few months ago went over to Alien Con.
Yeah.
And while she was there, I get a text message saying, "Look who's here! It's your boy Doug." Sure enough, she sends me a picture of your booth and everything, and you guys connected there too, right?
Yeah. It was a nice surprise to see Doug there, and it was just a whole alien vibe, because it's literally Alien Con, so people are out there.
I don't know why I didn't think you wouldn't be there, but it makes total sense.
I didn't even know it existed until a couple months before I showed up.
Wow.
I didn't know there was an Alien Con. It went really well for us, though. It went really well, and so we'll definitely want to do it again.
I've never been to Alien Con. Now that I'm hearing more about it, I'm interested in maybe going to the next one. But how does it compare to a Comic-Con? Like, in your experience as somebody on
different. You're talking about the difference between, LA Comic-Con is about 75,000. The Vegas one, which is much smaller, is about 25,000.
Okay.
This is like 2,000, 3,000. I mean, maybe it's more than that, but it's not a lot more. I think they said it's like 10,000. I have a tough time believing that. Talking about a conspiracy theory, I don't believe 10,000.
Maybe they were just spread out throughout the day. You don't know.
Maybe, but we were right next. We had a choice spot, and we were right next to the front door. So anybody who went in had to go like right by our booth. So and when you're running a business, you definitely try to keep tabs of like how many new people are we seeing, and So maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was in the low thousands.
Okay. But
it still went really well for us because it was a targeted audience. Although you would be, my wife was generally surprised how many people went up to our booth. They saw we have a giant banner of the alien head on that one.
Yeah.
Now we have a giant banner of our daughter, which you'll see in December. But there's this giant alien head with the ship and everything. Yep. And I guess we should have thought of this in advance. But they all walked up to my wife. A lot of people walked up to my wife because she does the most of the selling and says, is this based on a true story? So over the course of 2 days, my wife had to get really good at getting a straight face when somebody says, she'd be like, no, Doug chose to tell a fictional story, based on the characters and what might be this and that.
Right.
But the first couple of times that people kept going, is this a true story? This and that kind of threw my wife a bit. So.
You should have leaned into it and said yes.
Yeah. Absolutely true story.
Yeah. This totally happened. In fact, this is a transcript, not a book.
And nobody ever wants to hear this, but anybody who writes or knows a little bit about the meat of it, the spaceship, the aliens, all the adventure, all the things that really that make up what you think of when you think of the series. That's kind of the wrapping paper, you know. Like if somebody was to ask you bare bones what Star Wars is about, it's basically about a farm boy who goes to save a princess. This intergalactic stuff and all that, that's the wrapping paper.
That's the vehicle.
But it's the first thing you think of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the icing on the cake. But the cake is actually, my series is really about dealing with past trauma. And in the newest book, there's a character who has no memory of the first two books, the past, and she does not want to face the past. She has no interest in she has flashes of it, and it makes her nauseous. So she doesn't want to know what happened to her. She doesn't want to know where she's been. Yeah. And that goes all the way to the first book where she had past trauma with her father. So there's like, the story is really about different characters and how they face their past traumas and stuff. Just with, you know, hopefully really cool wrapping paper.
So when you came back to Children of the Ship, like how did it feel sort of wrapping up the story for you? Like what were your thoughts? Like, oh, it's, you know, how did you feel, you know, with it coming to an end?
Well, actually, I was going really, really well there for a while because I knew the second book ends in a way that definitely gives a hint as to where I might be going. That you know, so I had an idea, and I definitely knew what I wanted to do. So I was rolling fine up until the last 50 or 60 pages. There is nothing more stressful, it turns out, than writing the last 50 or 60 pages to a trilogy or any kind of long series. Because if you screw that up, then they will feel that you wasted not just their time in this book, but their time across all three books. Yeah. We've all seen TV shows like I love The Mentalist, and then they had this big thing with this killer Red John, and the reveal was terrible. And that ruined the entire show for me. Some people had that with Lost. A good example of it working well was, I thought, the final shot of Smallville. After 10 years, the final shot is Clark Kent goes up to the top of the roof of the Daily Planet, takes off his glasses, opens up his shirt, and there's the S smashed to black. Because the promise of the pilot was this young boy is going to become Superman someday, and that's the last shot of the show. So fulfilling the promise of the trilogy is really what the last 50 pages are about. That was stressful.
Yeah,
I actually had to rewrite a part of it, like front to back, after I had done my first draft. I was like, okay, no, this isn't. And the last 50 pages, there was a lot of stress there.
I imagine you have a general outline of the thought. You know, but even then, the skeleton, that outline, did you have to like fundamentally change a few things in it? Because okay.
No, well, you might recall, I don't know if anybody's watching this had seen our last year's interview. There was we did mention the third book, and I said that in the third book, Casey was going to have to make you said, do you know how it was going to end or something like that? And I said, it depends on which decision Casey makes, because there comes a point in this book where Casey has to make a choice. The ship tells her something, that you can do this and save this group, or do this and save this group, and you have to make a choice. And at the time that we were talking a year ago, I didn't know what her choice would be. And what's interesting about when you write characters is they go in different directions than you ever expected. She actually found a third option that I had never intended or thought of until much later when I was in the book.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I definitely knew I knew where all the characters ended up. That part I knew.
Yeah. I mean, now that the trilogy's complete, what's next for you as an author?
Actually, at the end of book 3, I always liked it when people give you like those little sneak peeks and stuff. You know, I've seen them in Star Wars books and stuff. So what I did was I had a script that was optioned 3 times called Shelley. It was originally called Homeland, then it was called Sentient, and then finally now the book is called Shelley, about an android detective and in a futuristic Washington, D.C. And it was optioned several times. Everybody really liked it. It was my most popular script, but it never got off the ground. And it was originally going to be my first book, and I decided to go with the ship first. But now that the ship trilogy is done, I dug out my initial 50 pages. I've been editing them, and I'm going to go and write that this year. And, you know, knock on wood, that will be next year's launch at Shelley. And the first chapter is done and edited, and it's actually in the back of Children of the Ship. So if you read it, you can totally see. Yeah, Stephanie read it. It was in there.
I think we were talking about this, like we briefly talked about this at AlienCon, and I was like, oh, you know, I remember, you know, a long time ago, authors used to give like a sneak peek or even the first full chapter of their next book, and then you did it with this with the end of the Children of the Ship. And I was like, oh my God, he did it. And I love that because now it's just like, okay, I love these 3 books. I can't wait to see what this author's doing next. So it's a nice surprise, like at the end of the book.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm hopefully, a reader will be there. They enjoy the 3rd book, and they'll be at the end, and at the bottom of the end page, it actually says turn the page to see a sneak peek. So hopefully that they like that.
That's
cool. It's a very different series. It's not sci-fi horror. It's sci-fi, but it's not a big horror thriller and everything. And there's no time-wimey stuff, which makes my life a whole lot easier. It's a straightforward political crime thriller dealing with androids. So it's much more, straightforward, which makes it a lot easier for me. Because when you're doing 3 books and timey-wimey stuff gets involved, you have a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross.
It's like you're writing Inception all over again, just trying to figure out where you're at on the whole thing,
but you're writing 3 of them. The stuff the decisions I made back in 2020 writing the first one had to definitely be kept in mind when I was writing, just finishing this
continuity is important.
Yeah. Oh, it's everything. Yeah.
As an author, what are the key storytelling elements that you focused on to create like that immersive reading experience? Like, how did you balance action, suspense, and character development to keep those readers hooked?
I go into what I enjoy. There are writers that I really love, but maybe they have long passages. It's like Stephen King. I love Stephen King. I've got shelves of his books, but he'll have some books like Needful Things or It and stuff where you're like, you could chop off major sections of stuff that's really not moving the story forward. He loves his characters. He likes to fill out the world. He likes to spend time with them. But as a reader, I'm just skipping ahead. I'm like, okay, I'm skimming. I don't want anybody to skim my books. So if I ever find my eyes starting to glaze, that thing goes.
Okay.
And in fact, across 3 books, there is only a single scene, which is a page and a half, that does not directly move the story forward. And that was in book 3. There is a scene where the little Casey's daughter talks about being in a play and that she's been cast as a singing flower, which she's not very happy about. And the reason that scene is in there is because this was the one time that I had to show the family dynamic right before the entire world falls apart. And I felt I needed it. But it's the only time out of 3 books that I ever even had a page and a half where it just went into, characters like to that degree. I like characters, learning about the characters in the action, in what they are scared of, whether they are brave, whether they are strong, whether they are weak, whatever is all discovered while in the height of it. It's like Aaron Sorkin, the famous screenwriter, once said: "Is don't tell us who the character is. Tell us what the character wants." That's a way I find to keep my books moving, is that I tell you what the character wants, and you'll learn about the character and their inner motivations as they go, but it'll be in a heightened sense the whole way. Hopefully.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I think I definitely get that from just reading the books. Like, they are definitely thinking on their feet, and you see the decisions that they make, and it actually describes them a lot better than if you were to just, tell us what they're doing on a Sunday afternoon, So I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to make a decision in the 3rd book. I could have gone what I would call the Stephen King route, which is a totally valid route of showing Casey Anderson, who was formerly Casey Stevens in the first 2 books. When we meet Casey in this book, Casey Anderson is a woman without any memory, and she had vanished for decades, but she actually only aged 10 years. And so there's a bit of a mystery around her, and she doesn't want to know her past, and she now has an 8-year-old daughter. And I could have totally shown her going to work and showing her time around the town and done all that. It just wasn't needed, and it would slow the story down. So you meet the people in the town as things are going on.
If I'm either a movie or television producer, that's probably something that would be in the talks, maybe as for the sake of character development. Do you think now we've talked about this before, that you want to be directly involved in it to make sure it gets done right, but if that kind of suggestion were to come up, is that something that you would try to veto?
No, I'd be open to it. I mean, everybody has a vision and this and that. I don't know where they would fit that in. I mean, if they got to by the 3rd book, they could do that. The first one doesn't really open itself well for that, because you open up inside a crashed UFO and you're kind of going. So there's not really any time for like long fireside chats. There is a scene where it's a little bit quieter, but even that is a scene where a Major Reese is talking to this guy Arthur, who's now an old man who had witnessed Casey's abduction many years ago. And that's a quiet scene, but it's still it's part of the story. It's moving it along. I'm not a big one for stopping and just having fireside chats. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have the chat while being chased by a monster.
Okay, that makes it interesting at least. Yeah.
As a reader, it's just like sometimes that's a little terrifying. It's like, oh my god, what's happening? How did your daughter feel about being in the book or like having inspiration? Being the model,
for the book.
She was very excited about it. What I hadn't counted on is that I also have a 6-year-old boy, and now he wants me to write a book about him. And I'm like, well, the next book's about androids. He's like, can there be an android boy? So there isn't, but I hadn't quite thought about that in advance. So, no, she was happy about it. It's pretty creepy, but she knew what it was going to be. I actually sketched up the cover before I wrote page 1. I did that for all 3 books. Mm-hmm. I always sketch up what the cover is going to look like. It keeps me on track and helps me make sure that whatever I'm promising on the cover is delivered. Yeah. So,
how much of her personality is in the character in the book?
That scene that I discussed earlier happened. I don't think she was I think she was a flower. That scene happened, and that helped me give reality to this world by having this one scene where a girl's complaining about a very mundane, normal world thing. Mm-hmm. But the character that she becomes over the course of this, no, they're very different. They're very different.
Cool.
Jacob is the father who was actually a little boy in the first book, and makes an appearance at the very end of the second book. He's now an adult and he's like 30. He has some similarities to me, Gotcha. Like I look at a situation and I might be thinking, I'm going to write him being really brave, but then he like totally freaks out and hides in the corner. I'm like, well, that's what I would do, Yeah. So, and then he has to become brave, perhaps even more brave than I might be as the story progresses. But I find he was originally not supposed to be quite as cowardly as he ended up being. There's a scene outside in this cave, the lip of the cave, and this something is attacking these other hunters. And at the beginning of that scene, he hides, and he has to force himself to get up and do something.
Sounds like me on a Monday morning.
So but there's always little pieces of people I know or myself or my kids or somewhere in this book. But no, the Sarah character, Sarah Anderson, is very different than my daughter.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thankfully, because Sarah Anderson really goes to the ringer.
She does. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. So I know that we only got a few minutes left here. What are you? You already told us what your next plan is, but where can we find you, like, in person? Are we going to see you in more of these cons? What's up next on the calendar?
LA Comic-Con in December, which is I think December 3rd is our next one. Okay. We are going to start looking into San Diego for the following year. Yeah. Those tables are thousands of dollars, and we have to have a lot of stock for that. Because, I mean, you go from 75,000 people at LA to 500,000 at San Diego. We'd have to have a lot of stock. So now that we have the trilogy done, that is something that my wife is discussing and I are discussing for next year or the year after. But for this year, it's LA Comic-Con in December 3rd. That's our next one.
Okay.
Very nice.
So we can find this book on Amazon. Where else can we find it?
You can get it on you can get it on Barnes & Noble and all that stuff. But I always shop at Amazon. I've never tried any of these other websites, so I always just recommend Amazon. You get it in a couple days, and that's it. So, you can get Amazon. You can look up just my name, Doug Brode, or you can look up Doug Brode the Ship's Revenge, or Children of the Ship. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, everybody, not only go get the book and read it, but also give Doug a rating on Amazon.
Please do.
That helps him out tremendously.
More valuable than anything I could. Seriously, that's more valuable than the $3 or whatever I get for each book. Like,
Yeah.
the ratings, everything.
Because, well, if I know anything about Amazon, that kind of carries its own currency on its visibility in the searches. Yes,
It does. That's why it's so important. Absolutely. You know, even sometimes when you get some bad reviews, it does help the aggregation or whatever it is.
Engagement.
Not that I'm suggesting I want any bad reviews. I'm just saying that every review does help move the needle. You know, so.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to leave a bad review, make it the shit sandwich. Have you ever heard of the shit sandwich there, Doug?
No, and don't give them ideas. That's a terrible.
Good reviews. Good reviews only. Good reviews only.
I'm just saying. That's shit. So you say something nice, you say the part you're going to say, and then you end it with something nice.
Shit sandwich. At least give it 5 stars and call it shit sandwich.
Yes.
5 stars.
You didn't let me finish, Doug.
Please don't. I actually read these things. Please don't.
No. Listen, if you actually read the book, there's no reason for you to give it a bad review.
Oh, that's nice.
See there? See how I did there? Well, I'm excited to read it come June when the audiobook comes out. I've loved the way that it's being narrated. What's his name again?
Zachary Johnson. He's
Zachary,
great.
he does a great job at it. It's just a consistent, nice flow. He really embodies the tone of the characters when he's reading their quotes, what they're saying throughout it. So, and not only do I personally do it in audiobook form, I do it in 1.5 speed. So his voice really does well in 1.5 speed.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've never listened to the book that way. I wouldn't know what that would sound like.
I know that Steph listens to her books in that speed, don't you?
There's some books that are read very slowly, so I'll have to speed it up just so it's in like a normal time, because I usually, when I read a book, I'm reading faster than usually what other, like if I'm comparing it to an audiobook, I'll read faster than what I'm listening to. So if an audiobook is too slow, I have to speed it up. And sometimes it sounds like a chipmunk.
Yeah, no, see, I couldn't do that. I always just listen to it at the regular speed, and if it grabs me, it grabs me. Mm-hmm. But the narration has such a big impact on whether or not you're going to enjoy that book.
Yeah,
because it could be a great book, but if the narration is just, there's something about it that's bothering you, then
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great. I really enjoy his cadence throughout the entire book. Yeah,
cool.
It's awesome. Well, Doug, it's been another slice of heaven here having you on the show. It wouldn't be the last. That's for damn sure. I hope that we continue this partnership here. And we'll look forward to seeing you at that LA Comic-Con. If there's any,
hopefully you'll be there. I will probably have Leia there on a Saturday. So if you guys swing by on a Saturday, you can
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll plan on it.
We have a big image of her alien face, a big banner that she stood in front of with a lot of people taking pictures. So
right on. Any last questions there, Steph?
Thank you for letting us be a part of this trilogy and this journey, and just keep us updated with everything.
Yeah, we're fans. Man. Yeah.
Big fans.
Oh, thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. When you're an indie guy, every person matters. Every reader matters. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Well, everybody, this has been Doug Brode, author of The Ship's Revenge, and Children of the Ship. Go to Amazon. Go get it now. And most importantly, give it 5 stars and give it a nice comment for that engagement that any indie artist so sorely needs. So help us out. Help him out. And then everybody's happy, man. And these are great books, so you're gonna enjoy them anyway.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Doug. Thanks again.
Bye.
All right, let's bring this home with some music highlights with Metalhead Nelson. Back on the show, making his triumphant return to the Foo Bar Show podcast program spectacular. Metalhead Nelson, everybody.
Woo! Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's happening, man? Now, I got to tell the listeners, we as advertised last week, we said that you were going to be in studio. However, you're in your room. You're in your bedroom. Explain yourself.
Okay, so yesterday I was helping my wife. I live with my wife now. I'm just back here to do this.
Well, that's your first mistake. Just kidding.
So we were cleaning out the room, moving shit around, dust, and said I was sneezing up a storm yesterday and this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to be sneezing about in Filthy Martini Studios.
Mm-hmm.
So if I sneeze in my little hut right here.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And you know, you don't want to be spreading the vid, you know.
Yeah, it's not even vid. Knock on wood, I never got it.
No, well, all right then. Anyway, so well, I hope you recover from the Rona real soon. So hey, so hey, man, you told us like there was a bit of an outline that you had in our music highlights segment, but as it pertains to your new radio show, tell us about this.
Okay, so it's not necessarily. Well, I'm still doing my podcast thing.
Okay.
So that's a different thing. If that's the Fun Never Ends podcast
with Nelson and friends, sure. Yeah.
My Spotify exclusive show called the Fun Never Ends Radio Show, where I play songs to my liking and, of course, just playing music.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do radio, and that's the only way through Anchor. Well, it's podcasters for Spotify now. It's free, and if you've got Spotify's premium, you can hear the whole damn song. If not, you got 30 seconds to listen to it. But yeah, go on to YouTube or whatever, wherever you listen to your music, and then just follow along from there.
Yeah, no, that's a cool concept. So, which we'll probably explore on our end too, because one of the things that sucks about putting music on a podcast is all the rights, all the copyrights, and we've been getting flagged on YouTube because we still want to put up our video portion of our podcast on YouTube, and if it's getting flagged and they keep threatening us week to week to not play music because then it violates some kind of whatever. We just stopped doing it. And and not to say that I don't think it has hurt our music highlights segment because we've come up with interesting conversations on music news and shit like that happening throughout the world, in the music world. But it's always nice to just be able to play a clip of a music or anything like that. So what did you have in mind for this music highlights segment, Nelson?
Well, I had a couple news before we jump into that.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Hey, so Cruel World. You guys hear about what happened with Cruel World Festival last night?
It got canceled for weather, right?
9:30. It got cut off. They put on the screens through inclement weather, lightning. Go to your cars, folks. But as on LA Times, they said Cruel World Festival featuring Iggy Pop and I can't even read that name.
Mm-hmm.
SIOUX
Susie?
Susie.
Yeah, Susie.
Yeah.
So they're performing tonight, the same spot. Right. So Susie extended their set, so they're going to be back at the Brookside at the Rose Bowl tonight. So everybody's coming back that way to finish off Cruel World 20.
It wasn't originally scheduled for Sunday, correct?
No, it was all Saturday.
Okay.
But due to inclement weather, ticket holders with passes from Saturday's Cruel World Festival can return Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Doors open at 5. So,
okay,
yeah.
No, well, that's important news for everybody listening to this on Monday. Anyway, we're gonna.
No, you know what? I hate those weather cancellations.
Dude, it happened to us. It happened to us in Vegas last year with when we were Young Fest.
Oh, we were walking there. We were on the way there. We were on foot.
Yeah.
And we got the text message, it's been canceled due to weather. Oh, we were so pissed.
And what I was upset about, on top of, them knowing about the possibility of high winds on the day that they ended up canceling it on us, it was the greed factor that they also sold tickets to Sunday. Now, you can't fault them, for trying to make money. But they're not doing that this year because I think they're trying to learn some kind of lesson. They didn't schedule one for Sunday in case maybe Saturday had to be postponed for the next day, I think. But, this was last year, so that idea is already kind of too late. But hopefully they learn from that and have some kind of backup for that kind of thing. And it's nice to hear that Cruel World had a way to make it up to the same fans.
What they should do is do what Coachella does 2 weekends back to back, but honor the same pass If something goes wrong, honor it for the next weekend. Then refund everybody or give them a complimentary pass for the next following year.
Yeah.
yeah.
And while that's a good idea, the only pushback that I can foresee from that is the amount of headcount that can possibly fill that place up. That that can pose to be an issue. So anyway.
So real quick, I'm going to correct you that they did
Son of a bitch.
schedule
They did do a Sunday
day 2
God damn it.
Sunday schedule, which we knew was going to happen. So we're going to go Saturday and
Yeah, because we bought tickets again for this year's When We Were Young Fest for Saturday. So if the same shit happens again, I'm going to light something on fire.
you know, the reason why we didn't riot last year was because everybody was like
Emo.
It was emo, so we were already dead inside.
We were crying.
But this year is the Pop Punk Festival.
Yeah.
So there's going to
Bunch
be
of
some
skaters.
there's going to be some riots.
Yeah, replace the emo kids with skaters and shit's going to go down. But anyway, back to you, Nelson.
Hey, so for all you Foo Fighters fans out there, drummer Josh Freese has been announced for the summer tour.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Josh Freese.
So he's not their official drummer. He's just their touring drummer for now.
Well, Foo Fighters have confirmed that Josh Freese will serve as drummer at their 2023 touring commitments, filling the seat of the late Taylor Hawkins. Let's see. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Foo Fighters, they also have a live show through Veeps. You can stream it today, actually. Foo Fighters global streaming event today.
Well, today as we record this on the 21st, so
Right.
will it still be available for folks who are listening to the podcast on Monday?
So it's available until Wednesday if you signed up for it prior to this.
Okay, so you got 2 days, everybody.
Right.
To watch this.
To watch it. It's a live streaming event and it's free.
Okay.
It's free.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. We're going to go see Foo Fighters at Ohana Fest over at Dana Point, yes?
Yeah, in October.
In October, so...
That'll be good.
Yeah, so we're going to see Josh Freese, just like you said.
There you go.
Okay, so since you guys brought up the Veeps part, during a live stream today, May 21st, Veeps.com, in the group's Studio 606 in LA, Freeze was introduced in a hilarious video with the following musicians, Chad Smith, Tommy Lee, and Danny Carey, attempted to integrate themselves in a position before Freeze was revealed offset camera the entire time.
Tight.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. So
Well, that settles that because I think people were placing bets on this, man. People were saying, Taylor's son was going to do it.
He kicked ass on that.
Roger Taylor's son was another contender that I would have been happy about. But he's a drummer for The Darkness. I don't know if they're working on new material or touring anytime soon. I'm not following them too much. Do you follow The Darkness?
They just played, I think. I think it was the Fonda.
Okay.
Yeah, we just missed him.
So he's busy. So that explains why he couldn't be in on the Foo Fighters tour. And I think Shane is still in high school. So
I think I'm on the road.
Yeah. Travis Barker was also dope watching him play. The actual Roger Taylor himself, I don't know, maybe it's an age factor for him. I don't know.
Oh, Queen's on tour.
Oh, well, that explains that. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's that.
Plus Adam Lambert.
Oh, with Adam Lambert. Right. All right. Well, nice. It's good to know.
Well, I've got two more things. One is not necessarily music. For all you fans of Only Murders in the Building, it's premiering season 3, August 8th on Hulu.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. That was not on my radar. I appreciate that.
On that as well.
Okay.
And for all you metal fans out there, Gates of Metal 3 will be at the Garden Grove Arena. No, it's an amphitheater. I forgot what the hell the name is. It's the Garden Amphitheater.
Garden Amphitheater.
This will be October 14th and 15th.
Who's playing?
Saturday and Sunday. Tickets are available at darkrealm.com, at Dark Realm, and you can find tickets online as well. Go to Gates of Metal, Facebook, whatever, gardenamp.com, and you can find tickets on there. Saturday will feature headliner Riot V with Vicious Rumors, Hellfire, Anger is Art, buddies of mine. And then Sunday, Sadistic Intent, Evil Dead, Fueled by Fire, Bonded by Blood. You can see the whole thing on Gates of Metal Facebook page or
Nice.
whatnot.
Okay. You going?
I want to go Saturday for a riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you? Do you think you can get like pit tickets or anything? Are you going to get in those mosh pits?
No, I'm going seating. I've been to that amphitheater. It's really fucking nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys been, but
No, I've never been.
No.
it's pretty cool. Right in Garden Grove, off of Euclid, not too far from Anaheim.
Okay. Now, Nelson, at our advanced age, do you still mosh?
Can't say that I ever have. Maybe like once, but I don't mosh.
Oh, you're just not a mosher, huh?
Not a mosher.
You like to watch from a distance, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I like to see the shit happen rather than be in the shit.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm like half. Like I'll be in the pit, but I won't like actively join the circle pit.
You're part of the rim of the pit.
Right.
Right.
Because I've gotten hit before. I've got smacked in the face, and it's not fun. I hate getting hit in the face.
Yeah.
And I've been kicked, and I was like, I don't have enough energy for this to get into the circle pit because I've got to last another hour and a half of this performance. So I'm going to just stay on the side.
Last thing you need is bumper bruises.
Exactly.
Or a bloody nose for that matter.
Right.
Right. I mean, to me, that used to be part of the experience when I was younger. You know, if I don't come out, bleeding my own blood, then I did it wrong.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Now, if somebody else's blood was on me, I mean, I'm halfway there. But I think it's a two-way street there for me to enjoy myself. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
And for music news, that about does it for music news on my end.
For the most part, yeah. I didn't really come too prepared on it, knowing that you were going to be on the show, and I didn't want to be too long-winded. I wanted to let whatever you wanted to bring on the show breathe a little bit. So what did you have prepared here, Nelson?
All right. So this is a Fun Never Ends radio show part that I wanted to let you guys pick your own songs and actually be able to air them out to everybody that wants to listen to them. You can find this part of the show on Spotify only.
Okay.
Look up Fun Never Ends radio show, because if you look up the podcast, you'll find this, but without the clips. I'll send the redirect link over there and you can listen to it.
Yeah, we'll just send us the link and we'll post it when we post our podcast promos.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and on YouTube too.
Let's go with whichever one wants to kick it off, and we'll go it from there.
Steph could go first. So you asked us to pick 3 songs that particularly to us have a story behind it or a reason why we picked it, right? And so, Steph, what did you have?
So for my number 3 pick was "Stay With Me" by Night Tempo, which is the Showa Groove mix. And I chose this song because I recently been getting into like the city pop, future punk, and like vaporwave type of music. Which is, if you don't know what that is, think of like old anime style type of music that's been kind of remixed. So if you're not really familiar with that genre, it's going to be like completely new to you. And I particularly like this song because it's upbeat. Everybody knows this song or has heard it at some point before. Mm-hmm. This is not the original version. I like the Night Tempo remix because it has that city pop feel. And it's just like, it's like a chill vibe when you listen to this song. So that is "Stay With Me" by Night Tempo. Okay. The second song that I chose was "Girl Anachronism" by the Dresden Dolls. And I've been listening to the Dresden Dolls for many, many years now. And they are a punk cabaret band. It's a 2-piece band with Amanda Palmer on piano and Brian on the drums. So it's piano and drums. And they have this like really cool like cabaret style, she's performing in her underwear, all this lingerie. They have like really fast songs. They have slower songs. And they're a band that really likes to interact with their audience. Like they're usually doing like solo nights. So they don't really have an opening act with them. And so that allows them to be interactive with their audience a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I particularly chose this song because it's a really fast song, and you really see that punk style with just piano and drums.
Wow.
Really getting down.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of a time, like, this was before you and I started dating. We were, a group of friends and I at Citrus College, we were on our way to the Amoeba store in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Right
The old
before
location.
the old location.
Yeah.
Right before it shut down. And so we were on our way to watch the Dresden Dolls because they would have open performances at that store, at that location.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the car and somebody took a wrong turn. And I didn't say anything because I knew, like, how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say anything because I wanted to see if they can figure it out for themselves. And so we never made it to the show because eventually we got lost and we could not find out, like, how to get out from this neighborhood, because this was the
MapQuest days.
This was the MapQuest days. I was the only one with, like, a smartphone with my BlackBerry that had MapQuest on it, and it was so slow to load that we just couldn't figure it out. Somebody had to call their brother, and the brother had to get on the internet.
Jesus.
And we're just like, we are at this location. This is, like, the address. It says blah, blah, blah. We're on this street. We don't even know if we're in Hollywood anymore. Like, how do we get back to Amoeba? And it's like, we never figured it out.
Where's Thomas Guide?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
I needed your Thomas guide for that one.
I mean, in hindsight, like, every car should have one, right? Just in case this happens. But, oh my God. And so we missed our opportunity because, like, I was being a little selfish. I was like, I'll let them figure it out. But they never did.
So
and
this
so
is
we
your
never
fault.
Yeah. And so we never saw them. And I was like, fuck.
All right.
So that's
there's the song.
Yeah. So that's the song, and that's the story that, like, that's the memory it reminds me of every time I hear the song.
Okay.
And then the number one song that I chose was Dragula by Rob Zombie. So
It's a good one.
this song always comes into my head when I'm, like, getting ready, or, like, if I am going to hang out with Christine, like, we'll put on this album. And this is the number one song that we always listen to. Like, we're putting on makeup, we're getting dressed, and we're like,
Why?
This is our hype song, right?
Why Dragula?
Because it's just like, it pumps you up. And also it's
a
Rob
bop.
Zombie. Yeah.
It's a bop.
Yeah. And it just gets us banging. It's like, yeah, let's go. And if we're not out of the house by a certain time, then it ain't going to happen. So we need, like, this song to, like, really get us going.
Okay.
So.
There's the time clock.
Yeah, right?
There goes Dragula.
Exactly. It's coming, and there it goes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So, Nelson, I'm guessing that you're going to cut this in a way where you're going to insert the song, correct?
Absolutely. I'm going to cut it from portion to portion,
Okay.
and then just kind of add a little snippet from there.
Okay.
Go splice them down. Should have mentioned, just give a quick break in between so I can splice it, but
No. We won't make it that easy. No, absolutely not.
You're going to have to work.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Hey, so awesome. So that just allows me an opportunity to let our listeners know that to click that link that I'm going to provide on the description to this. If you're on Apple Podcast, you can click on a link on the description of the podcast. We'll provide that when Nelson provides it to us, and it'll be there for you. Also, when we upload this video to our YouTube, it'll be on there as well. So if you want to listen to the songs that we're talking about, by all means, click on that link for Nelson there. You want to hear what I picked?
Oh, yeah.
So my 3 songs, and I guess they all have some kind of meaning to me, at least when I was really kind of coming of age. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast recently, but as an only child, I had a lot of cousins, and that's where I got my musical influence from, what I listened to every day. A lot of my cousins were older, so I do remember the grunge explosion happening in 1991, 1992, all those awesome albums that were coming out in the early 90s. I was aware of them. Now, I wasn't old enough to maybe appreciate them, to own any of the albums, to know how to find them on the radio. I was young. I I was in kindergarten, but I was aware that this was happening. Now, flash cut to my middle school years when a different movement in music was happening, which was nu metal. In the early 2000s, late 90s, one of the bands that really kind of shifted my perspective as to what was going on in the music scene was when I was introduced to Power Man 5000's When Worlds Collide. And as soon as, I don't know why this particular song resonated with me, but it was so much more different than the grunge and alternative rock that I was already kind of listening to when I would go over my older cousin's house and hang out with them. They're just like, check out this new, I guess, I don't know. I don't remember people calling it nu metal until years later, until I was in high school. So it must have been like 2 years after that. But at the time, they were just like, it's like these metal bands, but they didn't sound like the old metal bands like your Panteras or your Metallicas. It's more very much just power chord driven, more overly produced. A lot more samples were happening. So you got your Power Man 5000s, your Static X's, your Spine Shanks, Korn, System of a Down was coming out a few years after that. Slipknot, all these bands that were kind of Disturbed, those kinds of bands. So for me, I was introduced to that particular kind of genre with Power Man 5000 and that song When Worlds Collide. So,
great song.
Yeah. I'm sure we all dig it. Yeah. My next song was At the Drive-In's One Armed Scissor. Are you familiar with this one?
No, I'm not.
No? Okay. So are you familiar with At the Drive-In?
Heard of them, never dug into them.
Okay. They are a band, and similarly, they also introduced me to this type of genre that's now being referred to, or has been referred to ever since I've been in high school in the early 2000s, as post-hardcore. I can't tell you why people started calling it post-hardcore, but it was a precursor to what ended up morphing into emo. And now, I think if you ask me, emo is not a genre. It's an idea. It's a vibe that the lyrics speak to. Because to give you an example, Jimmy Eat World is considered emo, but sounds.
I don't know how that.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know, but it is.
Even Weezer, if you look them up, they even say like post emo or something.
Okay. Well, that being said, Jimmy Eat World does not sound like The Used.
No, they don't.
Like, but they're all considered emo. You know what I mean? How it's just not the same song. Even a lot of the grunge acts. Nirvana does not sound like Alice in Chains. Does not sound like Soundgarden. But they all kind of were put in that group. You know what I mean? So the precursor to emo. And even then, I'm stuck in my ways in not calling a band emo. I would like a band like At the Drive-In is I can agree with the post-hardcore label, and a lot of bands that came along with that was Thursday. Kind of has that same feeling, but then Thursday got lumped into the emo label.
They
kind
are
of
not
group.
emo,
but they do sing about sad shit.
Yeah, but they were like. Not for me because it was before the emo era that I started listening to them. Mm-hmm. They're not emo to me. Like they're like the hardcore. Mm-hmm. They're more hardcore.
Yeah, well, good luck with
that
thesis.
Fight me.
But similarly enough, At the Drive-In does not have sad lyrics. They don't sing about sad shit. They sing more. It's more socially conscious, economically, social economic kind of issues. Some are politically charged. They are pissed in their music, as any metal band would be. You know what I mean? So what I'm picking is At the Drive-In's One Armed Scissor. It's their #1 single that people can check out. It's in my opinion, it's their most famous single that they ever put out. They have tons of great music, and and if you want to start with this one, Relationship of Command, that entire album to me is flawless. So I think you would enjoy it, Nelson. So it's not emo, I promise. But it's really kind of, it was one of those first bands that, to me, kind of led the way of other bands going kind of led in that direction, but not really. And then lastly, my third song that I picked was Bad Religion's I Want to Conquer the World. It's my favorite song from Bad Religion. Now, when I was, this was in the early 2000s, and I forget exactly what year. It's like 2001, maybe 2002. I was in a record store, and I was looking through their $5 bin, and I found the Punk-O-Rama compilation album. I don't remember what volume it was, but it was probably one of the best mixtapes that I've ever purchased on a whim, that I hung onto, and it had like a bunch of cool songs. And then this is how I discovered a lot of the punk music, because I was very much a metalhead in middle school and early high school, and then I came upon this mixtape with a bunch of punk music that really kind of started getting me more into the punk and appreciating punk, because nobody really exposed me to that. And I started now putting together the pieces and the different elements of, grunge and post-hardcore that borrows those elements from metal and punk to build their genres too. So it helped me understand the entire rock and roll scope as a whole, and allowed me to be a little bit more well-rounded when speaking of music. And Bad Religion really exposed me to just like thinking about the world around you, and a lot was going on in the early 2000s, post 9/11, and I really connected with the lyrics to I Want to Conquer the World, and I just think it's an awesome song, and the guitar work in there is great. I really appreciate it. So those are my 3 songs.
All right.
Yeah.
Great songs, great selections, and you guys that are listening, you can hear those 6 songs, 3 each, and enjoy it. And subscribe to the Foobar Show, of course. For my end, everybody go check out the Foobar Show, and I'll link it all into the description.
Yeah.
Also, the Fallen Electric, which is now a 3-piece band, and you guys been a 3-piece band for quite some time.
We've been a 3-piece band for over a year now. It's coming up on a year and a half. It was a blessing in disguise, as shitty as that may sound. We lost the bassist back in February of 2022, and we've been a 3-piece band without a bassist. But I wouldn't say that we are bassistless, because I've recorded all the bass lines and they're still being pumped out of an actual bass amp as the rest of us play those songs. So it sounds arguably like a 5-piece or 6-piece band, because I also have keyboards coming out of the speakers as well, and other backtracks coming out. So it's a whole production. If you come see the Fallen Electric now in 2023 and beyond, it's we got lights, we got visuals, we got a lot going on. And we've embraced, the audio production that goes into live music. So it's awesome. If you haven't come see us, it's a fun show.
Yeah, the last time I saw you guys was at Bright Star Tavern.
Man, that was, what was that, like 2018?
2019. I brought my wife that one time. We saw you guys, and we went back home after that.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. So that we were arguably a different band back then.
That is not the same band.
Yeah. You saw a different band, so you should come out. You should come out and check us out. That being said, let me plug our next shows coming up here. The Fallen Electric will be over at the Harley Davidson dealership over in Westminster, California. They call it the Huntington Beach Harley Davidson on May 27th. That's this coming Friday. We're going to be playing from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and it's going to be their bike night. So anybody can bring their bikes, get them washed. A lot of girls in bikinis, a lot of food, a lot of vendors that are going to be there. I think they do like $1 or $2 beers. So come in. It's a fun time, man. And you know, we're going to be there to play. And then after that, on June 3rd, that's a Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., we're going to be at one of our favorite places, Brewery X in Anaheim, California. It's a rescheduled show back from early April when there was rain that caused us to cancel it because the stage is outdoors and I didn't want my equipment getting fucked up like that. So, and the guy who booked it says, yeah, no, we wouldn't want you guys in those conditions either. They were nice enough to also treat us to lunch that day since we ended up showing up, but we couldn't play. But now we'll be back. If there's rain on June 3rd, somebody up there doesn't like me. So I don't know.
Rain in June? That's uncalled for.
Yeah, that's wrong.
But it's California.
Wrong. Yeah, it's been a little unexpected lately with this rain and gloom. And you know, yesterday proves that, like lightning or inclement weather would shut down
side of a smart and final the second I get home. My brother-in-law's like, hey, did you see that lightning? No, I was in the store the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there's that.
Oh, yeah.
So what's up with you, man? I know we got right into it, but what have you been up to?
Before I get into that, I've played Listen in my car. My wife, my brother-in-law, Nacho and Jose, they fucking got a kick out of that song every time I play that song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That was our first release.
I was like, that's catchy as hell. Who is that?
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as far as me, well, I did get into an accident.
What?
Me and my wife, we got into an accident in El Monte. This idiot comes out of nowhere, turns where he's not supposed to in an uncontrolled intersection. I'm going straight. I've got the green light. This guy's parked on the other side by that bus stop by the curve. He cuts in, doesn't use a turn lane, and I didn't have enough time to stop, so hit him. It's a total loss, but ended up getting wasn't my fault. AAA and said, you got full coverage. You're covered. And I went ahead and got a new.
You guys okay? Anybody go to the hospital?
She did. She went to the hospital. She had trouble breathing, but still kind of banged up a bit. It wasn't a lot, but I mean, in just soreness and stuff like that, and some kind of pain.
Yeah.
But we're working on getting that other side of injury resolved.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
So that explains why you got a new car. It wasn't for the best conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a nice ride. I'll tell you that much.
Glad you guys made it out, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen you guys since the wedding.
No shit.
Cool enough to record that.
That's 5 years now. Right?
That's been a while.
Yeah, when it was. I would argue that it was more of a Metalachi concert than a wedding.
Was Metalachi.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm sad to I don't know if I've brought this up, but it's sad to announce that the singer for Metalachi is no longer with the band. Him and the trumpet player. In fact, one of the last shows that they played, we went to go see them at the Canyon here in Montclair.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
One of the last shows that they were going to play.
Oh, funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen you guys since my wedding back in August.
Yeah.
But your wedding was a badass. So since you brought up that part, the singer and the guy that played the trumpet is now in Outlaw Mariachi. They started a band called Outlaw Mariachi.
Same concept?
It was Charros of Rock, and then they switched it to Outlaw Mariachi. Friday, June 9th at the Upland Lemon Festival.
Fuck out of here.
They are headlining that show. So on Friday night, I believe if you go to Lemon Festival's Instagram, it's posted up on their the hours and the time. It should be 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
So is this the same concept as Metalachi?
Pretty much same thing. He's called it was like Flash something. His name's on there. Just go to Outlaw Mariachi and the whole thing's on there and look him up.
Yeah. And actually, yeah, I threw myself off there, Nelson. I thought when you said you hadn't seen us since the wedding, you were talking about your wedding. And you're right.
Yeah.
We saw you. We saw you there, and you're right. I hadn't seen you since that day. That was a cool time.
Yeah, that was fun. It was hot as fuck.
Yeah. So let me say this too. We get there. I don't know if we talked about this on the pod, but we get there, and you're still in like basketball shorts.
Okay, I'm in basketball shorts because I have to set up the stuff out where we do the whole ceremony on the ceremony site.
But it's just like, dude, you're getting married in 20 minutes. Why aren't you dressed?
I'm running around. I don't want to sweat in my tuxedo, especially on a hot ass day. So I'm running back and forth, setting up the mic, the audio, and everything. I'm back and forth, and setting up in the room, getting everything situated because me and my brother were mainly the ones that were doing all the whole technical stuff. Even the guy that was doing our food stuff, Ryan, he was like, "Are you the DJ?" Oh no, I'm the groom. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you understand how he got to that conclusion, right?
Yeah, I'm setting up for my own wedding.
You should have delegated this to more people. Like you should not be sweating right before. I mean, it should be sweats of nerves rather than sweats because you're just running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
A golf cart would have been nice. I swear.
At the very least, yeah. Or those shoes with the wheels on them.
No wheelies? Is that what it is?
Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Heelys or something?
Heelys. There we go.
Oh, forget the Heelys. Just give me a Segway.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that works.
Have you ever been on one of those?
No, I haven't.
No.
It sounds more fun than those little hoverboard things.
Yeah, well, at least that you're not as likely to fall over. You know what's ironic and hilarious about the Segway is the guy who created the Segway died on a Segway falling off a cliff. That was today's fun fact.
Oh, man.
That was an interesting segue.
Yeah.
Ha.
There's the pun.
Well done.
Very nice.
Cool, man. Well, let's see. Tell our listeners about your radio show. How can they find it? All that good stuff.
All right. You can find it all on. Go to Spotify and hit type in Fun Never Ends Radio Show, or you can click the link that's in that description in this Fubar Show description.
Okay.
Wherever you may find it. But or go to funneverendspodcast.com and there's a link through there as well. And you can listen to all the episodes from that one and through the podcast one as well.
Okay. Do you still have the same intro music?
Same intro.
Okay.
Same intro.
Right
so just trying to save money, and that's the way to do it.
That's how you do that.
Nice.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for being on the show here. I can't wait to hear your portion and your edits that you're making to this segment. I like the little relationship that we have whenever we are on each other's shows, where we just end up sharing the audio, but kind of repurposing it to our needs. It's pretty.
Oh yeah.
It's very efficient
like
here.
With the whole thing with the woes of online dating.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember those? Those segments are nuts. Cool, man. Well, Nelson, thanks for being on the show, and we'll catch you hopefully sooner than later. And we all need to hang out again.
Yeah, it would have been today, but had it not been for the allergies, man, I would have been there.
Sure.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. Allergies. All right, bro. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good, man.
Later.
Thanks.
See it.
Well, that was cool having Nelson back on the show, Steph.
Yeah, it's pretty nice seeing him.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Well, that's going to do it for the show, man. Come on back in 2 weeks. Next week, we're going to be in Vegas, and we're not even going to think about doing a podcast over there.
Nope.
I am going to be wrecked. I'm going to...
Said wrecked him. Damn near killed him.
Yeah. I'm not going to be sober likely for that entire weekend. Also, the fact that we're coming back on Memorial Day, right? We're coming back on Monday.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have time, everyone. And I can't promise that I'd be able to have enough time to put together a best of. So don't come on back next week. But come on back in 2 weeks, and then we'll do this whole this whole dog and pony show all over again. But this was good, man. We haven't had guests like this in a while, and we crammed 2 of them in one podcast. And this was our anniversary show. It was a lot of stuff. This was a lot of show, everyone.
Big show.
A lot of show. Anything else there, Steph, that you wanted to say?
Next pod, we are scheduled to have another guest.
Oh, right.
He goes by Groovy Kaiju. It's a DJ artist that put together an event called Crystal Nostalgia. Mm-hmm. So we're going to chat with him next time.
Cool.
See how that goes.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Is he going to be in studio, or are we doing a Zoom thing with him?
No, we're going to do a Zoom thing. Yeah, it's just, I know.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, I guess you can't win them all. Well, let's see here. I think I've checked all the boxes. Thank you all so very much for listening into the Foo Bar Show, and a special thanks to you Foos who subscribe, rate, review, and share the pod with your fellow Foos. Remember to pick up some swag at foobarshow.com. That's FOObarshow.com, and follow FOO Bar Show on all of our socials, and we'll foo it up like a couple of Foos. I've been Josie.
And I'm Steph.
Signing off for Doug, Nelson, and me. Don't be a dick!
Fuck, man. Thank you, guys. Okay, in 15 fucking minutes, you're all not gonna care about this anymore, so I'll just say what I need to say. That was the worst we have ever had, and you're all fucking around!